funny guy. You'd be around him, he'd crack little jokes, and he was just he loved life. He loved his family, and we're going to miss him.
What was his role in the World's Fair? I knew that he had some role in it, but I didn't realize he was the one that initiated it.
He worked with other people, but he was the main linchpin, if you will, to talk to the people who were putting together the World's Fair, to talk to other people that may be coming, world leaders, that type of thing. And he was just, really doing his best, and obviously it worked. So that was quite a feather in his cap, and he still owns property down in the old city. He was really passionate about that. And Hubert, you'll remember back when the old city first reopened, what a fun place it was, and then it fell on some hard times, and it's come back even better than before now with all the great restaurants. And
I live downtown, and I have to say I love it. Growing up in Knoxville, it was just the pariah of the area, and now it's fabulous.
Yeah. I do remember, Foster, excuse me for interrupting, you said something I want to speak to, though, because I think what you may have been referring to was urban renewal.
Yes, sir, that too, exactly.
Yeah, and that happened around 1972 or whatever, and at that time, it wasn't the old city, it was Vine and Central, which was a seedy little place.
Yes, sir.
You could rent rooms by the hour, there was a juke joint on every corner and in between, and this and that, and whatever the case may be. Knoxville was a much different place, and so urban renewal came through, and of course that has mixed emotions, and that's a whole other conversation. But in terms of the old city per se, it certainly helped to revitalizing the old city, and credit be to him for that. And as Megan asked you earlier about him in the World's Fair, well, history will show that he was mayor, and then Tyree ran against him and won, and then Testerman came back and won the seat back.
Right.
And so a lot of people credit Mayor Tyree with the World's Fair, as he probably should get it, but it had to begin somewhere, and it did begin with Kyle Testerman.
It did, and Kyle and Randy, even though they ran against each other for mayor, and as you pointed out, Kyle got the nod the first time around, and then Randy beat him and was in office, and then Kyle ran again and won. And I think both of those gentlemen deserve credit for the World's Fair, as a lot of other people. But I think Kyle was on the spearhead of that, and it was just, like I said, very compassionate about Knoxville and making sure the city grew. And after the World's Fair was over, I remember he was able to get the U.S. Pavilion for millions of dollars less than what the federal government wanted to sell it to us for, therefore getting us a building that would start the redevelopment of the World's Fair site, or World's Fair Park, as they call it now. And he was really instrumental in that.
Now, 32 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock, we're talking with Foster Arnett, Jr. Yes, he is the clerk of Knox County, but he is also a personal friend of Kyle Testerman, of the late Kyle Testerman, former mayor of Knox County, and also the Testerman family, Ben, Muffet, Janet. And we certainly send out our condolences to the entire family on behalf of this radio station and our show. But Foster, and this has been well documented, Kyle Testerman had been stricken by polio at a young age.
That's correct. And it was interesting. This was just in Kyle's makeup. He didn't mope or run around. Of course, I didn't know him then. He's a little bit older than I am. But he took up the game of tennis and became quite well known nationally with his tennis. And of course, Ben went to Wimbledon one year, and he played all over the world as a pro player, and then came back and set up his construction business. But Ben and Kyle, I remember watching them play at the Racket Club many years ago, and it was a talent that Kyle got, and he basically said, "Polio's not going to get me down. I'm gonna get out here and start playing this game of tennis." And I don't know if you know Dr. Reese Patterson, but he is a very successful doctor here in Knoxville, and I saw him at the dedication of the tennis center. Visitor of my dad's, who passed away about 10 years ago, but Reese and Kyle used to play tennis together a whole lot. So it's he's gonna be missed, but obviously his legacy will live on, not only in his daughters and his son, but also his grandchildren and his family. He was just wild about his family, and I think he was really happy when he spent a couple of decades in North Carolina after retirement.